Hi, welcome to my set of videos. This is Patricia Ann Landon Regali, Chief Little Flower, coming at you from the trenches of having been targeted. I am a targeted individual that have been targeted since about the age of 25 for about a couple of years. Then it would recess into the background on and off until the year of COVID, about 2020, whenever gang stalking had reemerged in full force and full effect. At the time of this recording, it is November 2024, and the gang stalking, the PSYOP assignments still continue. And so my videos they're about my experiences as a targeted individual. I had been railroaded out of a successful and thriving career as a paramedic. I've been a paramedic for about 13 years before I walked away from my profession as a paramedic for two reasons. The first one was so I could speak freely about being heavily targeted and gang stalked in medical facilities by other medical professionals. If I were to hold a job in the medical world, that would be a huge conflict of interest for me and any potential employer. And so I have a passion for sharing this with the world because what's happened to me can happen to anybody. And if we were to shrink in fear, how would anybody ever rise up to protect themselves and to arm themselves with the knowledge of objective data? And additionally, since I was being targeted in the medical world, I knew it was a matter of time before somebody was paid to bear false accusations against my license. In other words, it was a matter of time before people would just make false accusations on my license. So those were the two reasons why I had nobly walked away from my career as a paramedic. And so I decided not to renew my license, because if my license was inert and non-viable, nobody could make any accusation against it. So I stayed 10 steps ahead of the community-based harassment. And so these videos are about my thoughts. They're about my experiences as a heavily targeted individual. So thank you for stopping. So for today's item up for my chopping block is that I've been in contemplation. As I always am, one of my contemplative thoughts about all of this gang stalking was whenever I first was indoctrinated as a targeted and gang stalked individual back in, say, 93, 94, and about 94, in that range, 94, 93, 94, and 95. So 2 years in there, 2-3 years, whatever. I was gang stalked really hard, and back then the gang stalkers were a lot more ruthless. I guess maybe there were a lot more hardened criminals, that was only the specific few that were offered the good cuts, the cuts from the sudden wealth payouts and stuff. But nowadays you see gang stalkers. Usually, if they're not too far gone in it, they'll have a gang stalking buddy. Like back in Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, we had our buddy, and we were supposed to go out in pairs. Well, that's how you can tell with these guys. The pattern here is like a solid colored top, and maybe some common denominator, solid colored pair of pants. And they'll wear the same goddamn color coordinated outfits. That's how you can tell them, because if you haven't seen cookie cutter, it is beyond cookie cutter. This thing is copy paste with what these gang stalkers wear. So they're so easy to spot. I'm all like, oh look, the parents have indoctrinated the children, and so they're outside running the, I don't know what kind of scheme they're running, but I see the gang stalking children I'm all like, I pay no mind to them. They're cute. I pray for them, and then I leave. I just left the park. I just left the park. Oh yeah, see the stop sign? You can see it. It says stop. But back in the day, whenever I was gang stalked, yeah, they never approached me with somebody that could testify witness. It was strictly whenever I was solo. But back then, whenever I reached out to friends, I'm all like, I'm being gang stalked really hard, except I didn't know how to term it, rather than saying that people are following me. And even back then, I was so motherfucking sentient. I knew for damn sure how stupid and how insane that sounded. I was so sane, I reckoned how fucking insane that was. So the ones that I really mentioned it to were the people around me, such as Marcella Maria Landon, now Comiskey, or Tim Regali, a couple of others who just didn't believe me. Oh yeah, my buddy Mike Taylor, he didn't believe me for shit. Whatever, because I used to hang out with him back then. My buddy's brother, I knew him, and he don't want to know me no more. And then so his sister Kara, shout out to you, beautiful. We became buddies. And then in the middle of our blossoming friendship, I bailed Houston. I still think the world of you, Kara. Love you, baby. But back then, her brother Mike, just didn't want to give me any credit for it. So I'm all like, well, god damn. Tim wouldn't believe me. Mike wouldn't believe me. Marcy was just kind of like, turned out, with the exception of Mike and Kara, Tim and Marcy, they ended up gang stalking me. Not per se themselves, but spearheading it, giving the whole machine, giving the cog information on me and how to gaslight me with how to use the stupid, I guess you would call it, what would you call it? MK Ultra. What songs to do the MK Ultra with? I'm all like, bitch, the moment you run your game, you spilled your hand. I'm never going to call you out on it. Why would I? You're untrustworthy. You have no morals. That's why you're out skanking your own integrity for, what, pennies on the pound, pennies on the flesh, somebody else's flesh? Yeah, why would I want to call you out on it when it's just so more entertaining just to watch you do your stupid, psychotic, insane bullshit? I'm all like, first of all, you guys would stick your thumb up your ass in the middle of a road if you were paid $10,000 to. If you were paid 10,000 cents to do it, y'all do it. That'd be $10. So, but my point here being is that, so y'all believe me now? Gang stalking? We didn't even have the term. Back in my day, we didn't even have the goddamn term gang stalking. We just had to figure shit out. And back then, we certainly didn't have the term willy-nilly gaslighting. We had to figure that shit out. So forget our ancient biological parents who had to walk 10 miles uphill to get to school every day. Shit, we got psychological warfare here going on. We have had to figure out gaslighting on our own, being gaslit without sounding too crazy. We had to figure out this gang stalking thing and then deconstruct it to where you can articulate it with the sense of I'm not crazy to it. And so, but it's so funny because I never thought whenever me and Tim were growing up, he was one of my best friends. And then whenever we started dating, like years later, I didn't know he'd end up being the bastard friend or the bastard ex that was spearheading the gang stalking. He denied that I could ever be gang stalked personally. I think his family were gang stalking way before I ever knew him. Looks like the The collective collaborative components of the universe and the ethers have high-fived that one. He was gang stalking. He knew what gang but, you know, whatever. Like my boots. So, but, yeah, I'm all like, and that's just my personal experience. For the other people that I had reached out to growing up back in the 90s. Y'all believe me now about the gang stalking? Don't tell me you guys became gang stalkers. I would be so disappointed. Your ancestors are disappointed in you if that happened. And if it happened, let's just fix it. Okay, guys? Because it's never too late to fix it unless you're dead and dying on a bed and you've got Nurse Ratchet gang stalker caring for you. And Dr. Mengele sellout. Fix it. Just fix it.